All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Meenakshi Sant and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for concerted efforts to make India a global centre of research and innovation. Prime Minister Modi congratulates Liz Truss on assuming British Prime Minister's office, lauds her role in Indo-UK bilateral ties. India signs MOU with Gulf Cooperation Council to facilitate consultation. President Draupadi Murmu nominates Ghulam Ali, a Gurjar Muslim from Jammu and Kashmir, to Rajya Sabha. Indian Navy's Nilgiri-class stealth frigate INS Taragiri to be launched today. ED seizes cash worth over 17 crore rupees during raids on gaming app operators in Kolkata. Defending champions India enter semi-finals of SAF Women's Championship with 9-0 win over Maldives in Kathmandu. World number 1 Iga Swiatek wins women's singles title at US Open Tennis in New York. And in cricket, Sri Lanka to take on Pakistan in final of Asia Cup in Dubai this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that when India is moving towards leading the fourth industrial revolution, the role of India's science and people related to this field is crucial. He said in such a situation, the responsibility of people in administration and policy making increases significantly. He said this while inaugurating the two-day Centre State Science Conclave at Ahmedabad in Gujarat yesterday through video conferencing. The Prime Minister emphasized that science is the basis of solutions, evolution and innovation. He said, with this inspiration, New India is today moving forward with the mantra of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan. Mr. Modi called for concerted efforts to make India a global centre for research and innovations in the Amrit Kaal.
इस अमृत काल में भारत को रिसर्च और इनोवेशन का ग्लोबल सेंटर बनाने के लिए हम सब ने एक साथ मिलकर के अनेक मोर्चों पर काम करना है. अपनी साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़ी रिसर्च को हमें लोकल स्तर पर लेकर जाना है. आज समय की मांग है कि हर राज्य अपनी स्थानीय समस्याओं के हिसाब से स्थानीय समाधान तैयार करने के लिए इनोवेशन पर बल दे.
The Prime Minister asked the countrymen to celebrate the achievements of the Indian scientists with great enthusiasm. He said the number of innovation labs should also be increased in the institutions of higher education in the states. The Prime Minister said his government is working with the vision of science-based development, and since 2013 there has been a substantial increase in investment in the field of science and technology. He said, due to the efforts of the government, India has risen to 46th rank in the Global Innovation Index.
सरकार के प्रयासों से आज भारत ग्लोबल इनोवेशन इंडेक्स में 46वें स्थान पर है, जबकि 2015 में 81 नंबर पर था. इतने कम समय में हम 81 से 46 तक आए हैं, लेकिन यहाँ रुकना नहीं है, अभी और ऊपर जाना है. आज भारत में रिकॉर्ड संख्या में पेटेंट हो रहे हैं, नए नए इनोवेशन हो रहे हैं. इस कॉन्क्लेव में इतने सारे स्टार्टअप साइंस के सेक्टर से हमारे यहाँ आए हैं. देश में स्टार्टअप की लहर बता रही है कि बदलाव कितनी तेजी से आ रहा है.
The conclave is being organized to strengthen the coordination between centre and state governments and collaboration mechanism in promoting innovation and entrepreneurship. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Liz Truss on assuming the office of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. In a telephonic conversation, both the leaders committed to further strengthening the comprehensive strategic partnership between India and UK. The two leaders discussed various issues of bilateral interest, including progress in the implementation of the Roadmap 2030, ongoing free trade agreement negotiations, defence and security cooperation. On behalf of the people of India, Mr. Modi conveyed deep condolences to the royal family and the people of the UK on the demise of Queen Elizabeth II.
One-day state mourning is being observed today across India as a mark of respect for Queen Elizabeth II. She passed away on Thursday. The national flag will be flown at half-mast on all buildings where the national flag is flown regularly. There will be no official entertainment today. The state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II will take place at Westminster Abbey on the 19th of September. A statement by the UK royal family has said that prior to the funeral, the Queen will lie in state in Westminster Hall for 4 days to allow the public to pay their respects. On the other hand, Charles III has been formally proclaimed King at St. James Palace. He is now the head of state, and with seamless and symbolic transfer from one reign to the next with oaths and signatures.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Secretary-General of Gulf Cooperation Council, Naif Falah Mubarak Al-Hajraf, on the mechanism of consultations between India and the GCC. Dr. Jaishankar also held a bilateral meeting with Mr. Naif and discussed the relevance of India-GCC cooperation in context with the current regional and global situation. The External Affairs Minister, who reached Saudi Arabia on his 2-day visit yesterday, addressed the Indian diaspora in Riyadh. He highlighted that India has made powerful efforts to actually grow its economy and move towards becoming a higher income country. He noted that despite the challenges posed by the Ukraine crisis, India is confident that it will be the fastest growing major economy in the world this year with at least 7% growth. Dr. Jaishankar will also co-chair the inaugural ministerial meeting of the Committee on Political, Security, Social and Cultural Cooperation with his Saudi counterpart, Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud. President Draupadi Murmu has nominated Ghulam Ali, a Gurjar Muslim from Jammu and Kashmir, to the Rajya Sabha. Mr. Ali has been nominated to the upper house on the recommendation of the central government. This is perhaps for the first time a Gurjar Muslim from the region has been sent to the Rajya Sabha as a nominated member. BJP's IT cell head, Amit Malviya, lauded the appointment, calling it a significant step as it gives recognition to the Gurjar community living in the Kashmir Valley. He said prior to the abrogation of Article 370, the community was literally not recognized and all social benefits were denied to them.
The Indian Navy's indigenously designed Nilgiri-class stealth guided missile frigate INS Taragiri will be launched in Mumbai today. The frigate INS Taragiri has been built by the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited for the Indian Navy. INS Taragiri is a 149-meter long and 17.8-meter wide ship. It is propelled by a combination of 2 gas turbines and 2 main diesel engines, which are designed to achieve a speed of over 28 knots at a displacement of around 6,670 tons. The Enforcement Directorate has recovered more than 17 crore rupees in cash from the premises of Amir Khan, proprietor of E-Nuggets, a mobile gaming app in Kolkata. The huge cash was seized at Shahi Astabal on Garden Reach Road. The raids were conducted yesterday under the provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The Directorate has accused him of stealing money from people's wallets and erasing all their records from the mobile gaming application E-Nuggets, which was designed for the purpose of defrauding the public. The central agency official said bundles of currency notes in the denominations of 2,000 and 500 rupees were recovered from the second floor of the house owned by Amir's father, Nesar Ahmed Khan.
Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that Indian higher education has produced the best company executives in the world and created the second highest number of CEOs after the United States. Speaking at the convocation of the Indian Institute of Information Technology, Management and Design at Kanchipuram near Chennai, she said that 58 global companies had CEOs of Indian origin. The minister reiterated that the education system needs to be constantly upgraded for better learning teaching experience to stay ahead. She informed that the atmosphere for startups in India was conducive and added that 100 unicorns together have raised $250 billion last year. Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai has announced that President Draupadi Murmu will inaugurate this year's Dasara festival to be held in Mysuru from September the 26th to October the 5th. He said that the government has received a letter from the President accepting its invitation to inaugurate the world-famous Dasara festivities on September the 26th.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani Ke Saath, reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we will bring you the story of the White Revolution in India, which transformed it into the world's largest milk-producing country.
The White Revolution, also known as Operation Flood, was launched in 1970s to make the country self-dependent in milk production. Dr. Verghese Kurian started the Operation Flood program, which ushered the White Revolution in India. Anand, a small town in Gujarat, was transformed into a milk bowl of India. The huge success of the Anand model got huge appreciation and culminated in the creation of the National Dairy Development Board in 1965 with Dr. Kurian as its founder chairman. The then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri asked Dr. Kurian to replicate the Anand model throughout the country.
Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri, when he was the Prime Minister, came to Anand and informed us that, I went and stayed in a village because I know this dairy is a great success. Your trade name is very famous. You are growing every year. As against 100 dairies owned by government, all are incurring losses. So I wanted to come to Anand to study what is the reason for the success of our milk. So I told the Prime Minister, sir, the secret is very simple. This dairy is owned by farmers. It is managed by elected board of directors, elected by the farmers. In their wisdom, they have understood that to run a dairy, you need professional management. So they have appointed me as the chief executive of this cooperative. And I have been left free to build up my team. And so it is a business which is commanded by farmers. And we all of us are responsible to the board for our jobs.
Dr. Kurian, over years, revolutionized the production, procurement and marketing of milk and other farm produce in India through cooperative institutional setup, and India could achieve the coveted position as the #1 milk producer in the world.
Cooperative should be formed not because it is included in the 5-year plan, but because there is a need for it. Because that is the only structure that will transfer to the farmer the largest share of the consumer's rupee without any middlemen owning the processing plant. That is why dairying is tailor-made for the cooperatives.
Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana are the major milk-producing states in the country. Addressing a gathering at Deodar in Banaskantha district of Gujarat on 19th April 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India produces milk worth 8.5 lakh crore rupees annually, more than the turnover of wheat and rice, and highlighted that small farmers are the biggest beneficiaries of the dairy sector.
बनास डेयरी ने ये भी सिद्ध किया है कि स्थानीय किसानों की आय बढ़ाने के लिए दूसरे संसाधनों का भी उपयोग किया जा सकता है। दूध, छाछ, दही, पनीर, आइसक्रीम के साथ ही आलू टिक्की, आलू वेज, फ्रेंच फ्राइज, हैश ब्राउन, बर्गर पेटीज जैसे उत्पादों को भी बनास डेयरी ने किसानों का सामर्थ्य बना दिया है। ये भारत के लोकल को ग्लोबल बनाने की दिशा में भी एक अच्छा कदम है। इस प्रकार के प्रयास निश्चित रूप से हमारी ग्रामीण अर्थव्यवस्था मजबूत होगी, गांव मजबूत होंगे, हमारी बहनें बेटियां सशक्त होगी.
All India Radio's dedicated programs on animal husbandry and dairy farming encourage farmers to adopt modernized dairy farming techniques alongside mainstream agricultural activities to augment their incomes. Programs covering provisions of government's National Animal Disease Control Program, launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, disseminate information to farmers for livestock health care, financial incentives available to them under Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund to boost productivity.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for concerted efforts to make India a global centre of research and innovation. Prime Minister Modi congratulates Liz Truss on assuming British Prime Minister's office, lauds her role in Indo-UK bilateral ties. India signs MOU with Gulf Cooperation Council to facilitate consultation. President Draupadi Murmu nominates Ghulam Ali, a Gurjar Muslim from Jammu and Kashmir, to Rajya Sabha. Indian Navy's Nilgiri-class stealth frigate INS Taragiri to be launched today. ED seizes cash worth over 17 crore rupees during raids on gaming app operators in Kolkata. Defending champions India enter semi-finals of SAFF Women's Championship with 9-0 win over Maldives in Kathmandu. World number 1 Iga Swiatek wins women's singles title at US Open Tennis in New York. And in cricket, Sri Lanka to take on Pakistan in final of Asia Cup in Dubai this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the International Dairy Federation World Dairy Summit 2022 being organized at the India Expo Centre and Mart, Greater Noida tomorrow. The summit is a congregation of global and Indian dairy stakeholders, including industry leaders, experts, farmers and policy planners, centering around the theme of dairy for nutrition and livelihood. Around 1,500 participants from 50 countries are expected to participate in the 4-day-long event, which will be held from tomorrow to the 15th of September. The last such summit was held in India about half a century ago in 1974. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Cheetah Reintroduction project on the 17th of this month. Disclosing this at the inaugural meeting of the National Conference for the Zoo Directors being held in Odisha capital Bhubaneswar, the Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, said that the cheetahs will be brought from Namibia for the purpose. Details from our correspondent.
Stating that this is for the first time that the cheetah is being reintroduced after its disappearance from India in the 1950s, the minister emphasized on the need to connect the younger generation with the world of the wild animals. Calling upon the Jew authorities to make the Jews a place of educating people about the wild animals, the minister said that the Jews serve in adding to the enjoyment of the people, particularly of the low and middle income strata of our society. He added that the Jews are also a kind of stress buster as a side product, and this needs to be recognized. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Union Minister for Forest, Environment and Climate Change and Labour and Employment, Bhupendra Yadav, is arriving at Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh today. He will review the preparations for the proposed visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi here on the 17th of September. Let's hear in on a report from our correspondent.
Union Forest and Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav will also finalize the preparations for the Prime Minister's visit in a meeting with the top officials of the state government today. Mr. Yadav will interact with young scientists of the Wildlife Institute of India. He will also meet Cheetah Mitra, students of National Museum of Natural Heritage and frontline workers. As per the official information, on his birthday on September 17, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the relocation program of Cheetah brought from Namibia at Kuno National Park in Shiopur district of Madhya Pradesh. 8 cheetahs, including 5 males and 3 females, are being primarily resettled in the Kuno National Park under this important project. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In the section Morning Matters, now let's listen to a discussion on the reintroduction of cheetahs in India. The participants are Dr. C.K. Varshney, environmentalist, and Chetan Chauhan, journalist.
After 1952, when India officially lost cheetah, the reintroduction of cheetahs in the wild under the project called a Cheetah Translocation Project, one of the biggest conservation projects taken up by the Government of India in the recent past. We have with us Dr. Varshney to discuss it. Dr. Varshney, the first thoughts on the Cheetah project, what do you think about it?
It is a very ambitious project because we originally had cheetahs in our country and they were present in the present day Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and also in other parts like Rajasthan and some parts of Gujarat. But because of the deforestation and reckless hunting that these wonderful animals, which are known for their speed and for their agility, were completely eradicated and they become extinct. Now to rehabilitate them, there are many important precautions that has to be taken. Because before the cheetahs, you have to select the right individual. So I think 4 male and 4 female cheetahs to begin with, but as it is planned, they might go up to 50, spread over 5 different natural or wildlife areas. But to begin with, it is Kino, and it is here that a lot of preparations have been made. And it is going to be a soft introduction, which means that first the individuals have to be selected. They are going to be selected, they should be healthy, disease-free, and at the same time, they should be in a reproductive age. Now, these are very important considerations. It is also important that all these individuals are collected from the wild, but not the one which are raised in the zoos, so that they can hunt for themselves. Otherwise, the animals which are raised and bred in zoos are of no good for introduction in natural areas. And minimum 1 month to really observe their health and to ensure that they are having no disease organisms with that. The cheetahs are going to travel over a distance of about 8,000 kilometers. They have to be properly tranquilized. The right dose of tranquilizer is important, and shifting these animals is a very technical task. So to give them enough adjusting time, they have to be kept in a special enclosure, which is about 5 square kilometers electrically fenced, and they have to be completely free from any competitive predator. All of them are going to be electro-collared so that they can be traced at least for next 10 years to see that they are rehabilitated.
Dr. Varshney, there are also many challenges which are there for cheetahs in India because in Africa, the grasslands are very huge and big. Whereas in Kuno, the grassland is not as big as that. So the space for cheetahs to move and run is not ample. And also there's the issue of thorny bushes. Apart from that, adjusting to the new environment in Kuno would be a challenge. And this population does not become the meta population. There is a danger of that the project may not succeed as the Government of India and the experts have envisaged.
The cheetahs are highly adaptable animals. The temperature tolerance range of cheetahs are pretty high. They are highly adaptable. We have to take note of all these issues that you have raised. Any project of this kind is likely to have number of hang-ups. But because of the training and because of the protective environment and because of the very special care, at least for next 10 years or so, it is possible that they might really become adapted to this new home. But we have to keep ready for any eventuality.
Dr. Varshney, it is a bold experiment by the Government of India. One of the biggest conservation programs to improve not only the wild population of cheetahs, but also improving the grasslands, which are the most neglected natural vegetation in the country. This project could be one of the breathtaking and keenly watched projects in the world, and it will be successful, and India sees more cheetahs because the government of India and the expert panel appointed by Supreme Court has identified additional sites in Mukundra in Rajasthan, some other places in Gujarat, where in the second or the third batch, more cheetahs will be translocated if the experiment at Kuno succeeds. With this, thanks a lot, Dr. Vashni, to be with us.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on the reintroduction of cheetahs in India.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has ordered the suspension of 15 officers of 4 different departments and action against 4 retired officers in connection with a fire at a Lucknow hotel a few days back. His order came a day after a 2-member probe panel submitted its report to the State Home Department. Senior BJP leader and Union Minister Anurag Thakur arrived in Mumbai last night. He will review the party situation in Kalyan, Dombivli parliamentary constituency in the next 3 days. He will address the Lok Sabha Core Committee meeting, youth and women wing of the party, along with the visiting people of the constituency.
Now moving on to sports. In football, defending champions India qualified for the semi-finals of the SAFF Women's Championship 2022 with a massive 9-0 win over the Maldives in their second match of the tournament at the Dasarath Rangasala Stadium in Kathmandu yesterday. In US Open tennis, world number 1 Iga Swiatek won the women's singles final. She defeated Tunisia's Ons Jabeur 6-2, 7-6 in the Summit Clash in New York. The men's singles final will be played tonight between Carlos Alcaraz of Spain and Norwegian tennis star Casper Ruud.
In cricket, Sri Lanka will look to earn their 6th Asia Cup 2022 title, while Pakistan will strive to end that long title gap in the continental tournament when the two teams clash in the final at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium this evening. The match will start at 7:30 p.m. Indian time. And now let us have a look at the weather forecast today. The national capital, Delhi, will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature was 27 and maximum will be around 36 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The temperature will hover between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have a thunderstorm with rain. The upper limit of the temperature will be 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The temperature will hover between 26 and 30 degrees Celsius. Jammu and Srinagar will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad is likely to have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thundershowers. Leh and Gilgit will have a generally cloudy sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The Prime Minister's address at the 2-day Centre State Science Conclave in Ahmedabad has been covered prominently on the front page of many newspapers. Centre's focus on development that is science-based headlines the Sunday Pioneer. The Sunday Statesman headline, quoting the Prime Minister, says, "Science imbued in Indian youth DNA." The Hindustan Times adds, Prime Minister calls for efforts to turn India a global innovation centre. Most newspapers have highlighted with photographs the proclamation of King Charles III to the British throne. The Times of India states, "God save the King, reign of King Charles III begins." And finally, the Times of India notes its reigning PILs in Supreme Court, deluge in CJI's court heavy case workload on Monday.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for concerted efforts to make India a global centre of research and innovation. Prime Minister Modi congratulates Liz Truss on assuming British Prime Minister's office. Lauds her role in Indo-UK bilateral ties. India signs MOU with Gulf Cooperation Council to facilitate consultation. President Draupadi Murmu nominates Ghulam Ali, a Gurjar Muslim from Jammu and Kashmir, to Rajya Sabha. Indian Navy's Nilgiri-class stealth frigate INS Taragiri to be launched today. ED seizes cash worth over 17 crore rupees during raids on gaming app operators in Kolkata. Defending champions India enter semi-finals of SAS Women's Championship with 9-0 win over Maldives in Kathmandu. World number 1 Iga Swiatek wins women's singles title at US Open Tennis in New York. And in cricket, Sri Lanka to take on Pakistan